and back.
Greetings everybody, Maximus here. I hope you're all well wherever you may be around this great big world of ours. In a new article from the Wall Street Journal, according to people familiar with the matter, Boeing has once again resurrected talk of a brand new mid-size aircraft. The creation of the often referred to 797 would help Boeing regain ground lost to Airbus in the mid-sized aircraft market sector. I myself find this move, especially the timing of it, a bit curious. I'll get to that later. According to the Wall Street Journal, Boeing has been in contact with potential customers, leasing companies, and suppliers to gauge potential interest in a single-aisle aircraft with improved engines that could carry between 200 and 250 passengers that would fall between Boeing's largest 737 MAX 10 and its 787 Dreamliner. Sources told the Journal that discussions about a potential new NMA new market aircraft are still in the embryonic stages and may not even lead to an eventual formal development program. Creating a totally new aircraft is a slow and methodical process encompassing years of planning, development, and testing even before the original idea can be realized as a finished product. The Wall Street Journal pointed out Boeing hasn't launched a new commercial aircraft since the Dreamliner in 2004, with the first Dreamliner delivered in 2011. Before the implosion of the MAX program under Boeing CEO Dennis Muilenburg, Boeing's goal was to fill the market opportunity between the MAX and the Dreamliner with what they were calling the NMA, or New Mid-Market Airplane. Initially, the NMA, or the 797, was being designed as a smaller twin-aisle jet that would encompass the economy of a narrow-body single-aisle. However, those plans were crushed under the weight of the MAX disasters. So now this is the point where I personally question why. Why this? Why now? The MAX is just getting ready to return to the sky. They have more spare brand new planes than they can sell, and we still have yet to see the new MAX-10 fly, so the timing is interesting to say the least. Let me take you back to January of this year when Dennis Muilenburg was relieved of his CEO duties and David Calhoun was given the job. Very early on in his new position, Calhoun very publicly announced that the 797 project wasn't being killed, but it was being shelved. In January of 2020, in his first official meeting with the press, Calhoun said the development that Boeing has been working on for the NMA, or the 797, will need to start fresh all over again. We're not giving up on the future, he said, but for me, my attention and that of my executive team, I simply want to be focused on fixing the MAX and re-emphasizing engineering and safety. Early on in the planning for the NMA, Boeing hoped the so-called 797 would be in service by 2025. However, Boeing strayed far from this course due to the fact that they were too busy trying to find ways to deceive the FAA and the airlines about the flaws of its new Model 737 jet. But it was already too late. Airbus by then had overtaken Boeing with its huge success of the A321neo. Back in January this year, Calhoun said that things have changed a bit. The competitive playing field is a bit different. We're going to start with a clean sheet piece of paper once again. He also indicated that the lessons learned from the MAX accidents, especially the change in thinking about how flight crews handle emergencies, could have a profound effect on the next new airplane design. We might have to start with the flight control philosophy before we actually get to the airplane, he said. We've always favored airplanes that require more pilot flying maybe than our competitor did. We're going to have to get our heads around exactly what we want in the future. That statement jumped out at me back then and still does today. And this is also a big clue to what I think that the next new Boeing 797 or NMA plane will look like. I think the next Boeing is going to look a lot more like an Airbus than a Boeing. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down below. Taking cues from the Airbus isn't necessarily a bad thing. In many respects, the product could be made better due to added redundancy and safety features. However, my big question is, will Boeing keep the yoke? I think so, because the two-man yoke is the single safest feature that separates Boeing from Airbus. Plus, pilots still love to feel like they are actually flying a plane, not playing a computer game. Again, that's just me thinking out loud. What about you? What do you think? Let me know. Like I said, it is curious that on the eve of the FAA and world regulators clearing the way for the MAX's return, that Boeing would be announcing the NMA topic at this time especially. I think it's actually a good thing for Boeing to put the feelers out there right now. It shows that Boeing is really reconsidering the catastrophic decisions they made with the MAX. However, Airbus has had all the success that Boeing feared they would with the new, bigger variants of its A320neo, including the A321LR and XLR, their long-range and extra-long-range versions. An all-new plane could help Boeing compete better against the A321, plus not leave passengers with the fear and stigma of the MAX every time they see the name on their boarding pass. Boeing had been considering scrapping the entire 737 program and starting over for years, until they got blindsided by Airbus's announcement in 2011 of the A320neo, and that led to Boeing's panic and hurried development of the MAX. And well, you know the rest of that story. Back in January, David Calhoun said, a new single-aisle plane wouldn't necessarily mean the end of the line for the MAX. Calhoun said the MAX will compete well for another generation. Another reason to start the new Boeing single-aisle talk once again is the lingering effects of the pandemic on the aviation industry. It's forecasted that it will take years for airlines and air travel to recover. Industry experts say it will be shorter-haul travel that resumes before long-haul travel. That makes the narrow-body single-aisle 797 NMA Boeing is now considering a more viable option than the previous twin-aisle NMA iterations. Still, Boeing says developing a new aircraft isn't a priority. They are focused on getting the MAX fixed and back in the air for commercial service again. In August, Boeing's chief financial officer, Greg Smith, told analysts the company was reassessing its product development strategy to determine what aircraft its customers will want in the future. We haven't lost sight of it, and we won't, Mr. Smith said. We'll make the right investments at the right time to maintain a competitive advantage with the product offerings that we have. In David Calhoun's January 2020 meeting with the press, he said the MAX is here to stay. He said he expects it to eventually reach parity with the Airbus A320neo. He dismissed any suggestions that the MAX may never fly again or will be renamed to disguise its history. He said passengers' confidence in the plane will be restored. I believe in this airplane, he said. I'm all in on it, and the company's all in on it as well. So like I said earlier, I'm really not sure what to make of the timing of this news. Why this? Why now? I don't think there are any nefarious or shady reasons for it, but it is an interesting time for Boeing to revisit the subject of the NMA 797. I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts. Let me know down below. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and ring the bell. And as always, remember, leave the rubber on the runway and your troubles on the ground. And I will see you next time in the air. Yeah, this is Maximus.